How would you describe the organisational culture in Humberside Police today? What would you say?
A work in progress still. There's no end game here with this. We've got 4,000 officers and staff. Does every single one of those officers and staff think that the force makes them feel valued, supported and listened to, and they've got a voice, and it's perfectly safe for them to put their hand up to their local managers and say, why are you doing that? I've got a different view. Of course, not everybody thinks that. But is there a critical mass of where people would say the culture has definitely changed here? Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's borne out from the staff surveys I mentioned earlier. 43 out of 43. We've been first out of 43 for 3 of the last 4 years. Massive transformation in levels
Definitely,
of low morale. Back in 2015, 2016, 23% of Police Federation rank members were saying they wanted to leave now or as soon as possible. It's down to about 4% now, again the lowest in the country. So I think there's some good indicators of that. Long-term sickness is one of the lowest in the country, and our other staff surveys that we've done are also very good, but it's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect. So I would describe the culture, particularly as I mentioned to you before we started, we've just run our sergeants and inspectors boards, and we had pass rates of 75% for the sergeants at those boards who presented and 70% for the inspectors, which I think is amazing set of results about their readiness and how they are come in and understand what it is that we're looking for. And there's a really simple premise at the heart of the leadership offer in Humberside, is that your primary responsibility for anybody who's got a leadership role in Humberside, from me right the way through to your police staff, supervisors and sergeants, is you take care of your staff. You sit down every month, face to face, non-negotiable, and you have a conversation with your direct reports. And that conversation should be 50% about them and what's going on in their lives, and I expect them to know who those people are, what's going on in their lives, what pressures that they're bringing to work, in order then to understand what their work performance, their ambitions and their aspirations are like. You can't possibly performance manage anybody without knowing their story, because how could you possibly then not know what's causing some of those issues? And we've made that a real non-negotiable, and that was a key part of my conversations with all those sergeants over 40 days and all those inspectors, is there's not an organisation in the world, in the public or private sector, that has outstanding service to the public or customers, but the staff feel unvalued, unsupported, not listened to and don't have a voice. That organisation doesn't exist. So we can't improve the service to the people in Humberside unless first our staff feel that they've got leaders who actually take care of them. And that's the culture of the organisation. There's an enormous focus on well-being, but it's, yes, we do stuff around occupational health and Oscar Kilo, but by well-being it's understanding the most important piece of your well-being is your relationship with your sergeant and your inspector. When you see people who retire and I ask them what are the best parts of their career, they normally tell me about a time when they worked for a sergeant or inspector who just made them feel amazing, held them to account, but treated them like a person. And when you ask them about times when they were low, or they've had grievances, or they've nearly left, I can guarantee it's not chief constables, it's sergeants and inspectors. So the culture is very much around, I expect you to look after your staff. Yes, you have tough conversations if needed, but you've got legitimacy with your staff then if you've treated them properly, in order sometimes to then say, come on, that's not really good enough, is it? And this is why. If you've treated people the right way, those conversations are much, much easier to have, because people will give you permission to have those conversations with them.